popular. So one is the Lieberg area, in my glasses.
Develop the Lieberg.
Oh yeah, develop the Lieberg, let's see, Lieberg Art Gallery, fun dining, flower shop events. So that one got a lot of votes. The summer concert series got a lot of votes. And then I think in the other one that emerged is the developed Rainbows Recreation Area, Death Ball Biking Trail, Lodge Biking Center. So these are three that really got a lot of votes. And then the expansion of Discovery Center also, and developed Vital Flats into a commercial space. So there are quite a few up here that emerged. I guess I wanted to just stop now and see, do you feel like what's emerging on these charts and on the transformational projects, does that ring true to you? Does it feel right? Were there any surprises? What are your thoughts?
I think most of them are logical to the river, the area. It makes sense.
We've got 2 mics.
Yeah.
I'm loud.
But it doesn't work through our system.
Well,
For the
I will wait.
Be kind to those who don't.
Be kind to those. Okay. So I like it. One of the things is somebody who's been working with the chamber and with the nonprofit we're with, is that it's really difficult, especially when you're dealing with private property. We're like, oh, that's great, let's tell somebody else what to do with the property. But these properties have been there a long time, and every time we approach somebody about something with the property, they're generally not interested in doing anything. And of course, we don't come with anything but ideas, there's no money behind it, in general, for all the stuff that we and groups have done. So the question is how much priority we put on that if we don't have much say in it, or how do we end up using the collective voice to find a way to help encourage those things to get developed. So that would be very helpful to hear from you guys what we can do.
So I think that is relevant to Vita Flats. What else is is it the Lieberg Gallery?
Is
The
that-
Lieberg Gallery, putting a lodge in near Rainbow, lodges are illegal to build up in our area now still.
Wait, which one is this one?
That would be the one closest to the left, in the middle.
Oh, this one's Rainbow Recreation Area, Death Ball.
Yeah, but there's still stuff that is developed there, which is.
Right. And so I don't think I'm going to have all the answers to how to do that. What I can say is that there is a revitalization grant program through Main Street, where Main Street organizations are eligible to apply every other year for funding that is a public-private funding. So this year, the grants are up to $400,000. You do need 30% match. And my guess is that grant opportunity will roll around again in about 2 years. And that is a kind of unusual opportunity, but has funded a lot of projects. I've seen it fund a lot of projects throughout Oregon. So that's one to keep an eye on. Other thoughts about what's emerging?
Can I use your microphone?
Yeah.
I was just going to respond to what Kristen said there too, because I think I was going to say the same thing, which is a lot of the ideas, they're private landowner type projects most likely. And so how do you find the people who are already excited to do those things and then try to, bring some grant funding, public funding, community support to those. So, but it is hard to, like the Mackenzie River Inn idea, yeah.
I agree with what he just said, but I also know that there's so many people that want to have these venues, so it kind of doubles up into everybody wants a nice place to go to have a great meal, sit-down meal, or pick up flowers at a little bakery, or go to a little cafe where you can sit and have coffee and mingle with friends, or so there's lots of need for go-to places for things to do, and Good times.
So putting my marketing hat on, there are ways to recruit businesses, I believe, to come to this area. If there's enough energy and enthusiasm for a project, and you can target certain people and entice them to come up here. So there's that we could do, really focus on marketing our area in a very specific way. And then I think there is funding out there that can, for public-private partnerships. That I don't think we have to sit around and say it's impossible. But yes, there are challenges, of course.
All right, what other thoughts? We'll have a couple more minutes for comments.
I'm going to be focus my scope around tourism naturally, but knowing that a main trip motivator for tourists outside our market to Oregon, and especially the Mackenzie River being outdoor recreation and scenic beauty, like capitalizing on that, I believe is important. So that's kind of where, like, for me, again, biased, kind of leaning into like the Death Ball Trail complex as kind of building upon the success of outdoor recreation in this area, but doing it in a way that accommodates a niche kind of market demographic that's emerging in the travel industry, but is kind of underserved and underutilized, with that being the adaptive or kind of beginner casual recreator. Because a lot of the current inventory here is for kind of more hardcore, really seasoned mountain bikers or outdoor ride, but like trying to accommodate to like the families, right? That can come in, do that activity, and then hopefully commerce around the river afterward. So,
Great, thank you. All right, any other thoughts, comments before we move on?
Hi all, I just wanted to first introduce myself. I wasn't at a table when we did the round introductions. My name is Jason Harris. I'm Lane County's Community and Economic Development Manager. So thank you for having me today. And secondly, I guess I'd put a question to you all. I was listening intently to all the ideas. I guess the question I would raise to you all, and I was surprised not to hear Three Sisters Meadow being highlighted as opportunity or transformational project opportunity. So just, I guess, broad question. I know it's a little more particular to Blue River, but it is a sizable land site and has a lot of opportunity. So.
Cliff and I highlighted
They have
that.
dog park.
As you may know from the history, Aaron Jones setting the sawmill, and the leader of Roseboro flipped a coin to see who was going to end up with that property, and Aaron lost, and so he got the property, and he kept it till he died. And in his estate, it went to his 3 daughters, and that's how I call it the 3 daughters. I've always dreamt about a computer campus there. It's to the zone properly, and if we could build a Nike campus there, then you'd have the results that you see over in Prineville, or you see these other campuses. So if we know somebody with a lot of money, let's have them build a campus there.
Oh, like a training, like a school? Is that?
It's a computerized campus, big, high tech.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like a tech school.
I'll give you a little more background on Three Sisters Meadow. Melanie's on the committee, and Chris has been with us. We have a committee of, I think, 15 nonprofits that are looking at kind of broad scope of the Upper River that kind of have been, they took the property on. When it came to us from the Jones family, the Jones family gave us the tract property. They also gave us, Marie Jones and built a tract building for us there. So this is the other half of the property. It was the old mill site when I grew up. And they approached us, the second Jones family approached us, the daughters did, and said, if this would benefit the community, would you be interested? And of course we said, sure, I'm going to get it. With all the headaches, right? And so at the nonprofits, and so at the time we asked the McKenzie River Trust if they would take ownership of it as a pass-through organization, simply to own it, and until we could decide as a community what best suited the community, after listening to the community. And the trust obviously said, well, this is not what we do, we're an environmental company that, you know, and restoration company, but we'll take a look at it. And so Jamal and his executive board said, yeah, we want to help the community, we're neighbors in the community with all the other restoration projects. So it's been a good partnership. McKenzie Community Land Trust currently is the one that, and they're a non-voting member of that board, but they help host and keep the movement going. Currently, we've been looking at sanitation, drain field issues in the Blue River community, and that's one of the sites that's been identified as a potential drain field. 10,000 to 20,000 depending on who gallons per day, depending on who you talk to. I think it's just recently increased. So there's a lot of conversation. It's not stale. We just have been waiting on a lot of the infrastructure pieces before we can start making, you know, real decisions and then asking the community what they would like to see there. There's a ton of opportunity there for sure. Ideas like this, we need to listen to other ideas on what the committee might like to do. So,
I guess that's
Thank
where
you.
the water park goes.
Yeah, we got people over here saying that's where the water park goes.
There we go.
That was one of the crazy conversations that tried to be had about that 60.
it's not the first time we've heard
We
one.
can put a water park there.
I just want to add to that, we need more businesses. It's an industrial piece of property, and I visualize more industry there. The school and industry, maybe a few homes, but more industry, since that's the only for industry.
Judy's absolutely right. That was industrial. It was the only heavy industrial zone piece of property.
Oh, Woodcraft.
When the Jones had it. In the Upper River, and they kept it that way. Their general manager said, we want to keep it that way in case the timber industry wants to come back and go, let them go. And that's why they, Roseboro and flipped the coin. And that being said, it's been changed. The zoning has recently been changed to a flex zoning, where it's not heavy industrial. And there's all the ramifications that would go with that. So it's now light industrial with also the opportunity you could do some residential. So it's a mix. So Judy's absolutely right. That's a prime opportunity place for some businesses if we can figure out what we want to do.
Oh, like a cabinet factory or something.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So what we're going to do now, we have 25 more minutes, and I think we'll take about 15 to, we were thinking we could break out into groups. Initially, we were thinking just around the transformation, a few of the top transformational projects. There's quite a big group here, and we can have more groups in that. What we want to do is we want to break out into smaller groups and think about either a strategy or a transformational project. I know that there's some projects that you all are working on that maybe didn't come up as transformational projects, but those are possible too. But I would like for you all to kind of select, you know, maybe 4 to 6 topics to break out into small groups and think, what does success look like? Who are the partners and what are the roles? What resources are needed and what are some next steps? So to think practically, how do we move these things forward? And particularly, like, we have had a kind of Main Street, this idea of the Main Street and the role of the chamber and a potential Main Street organization. So that's something specific to, like, what would the role of these, you know, if there were a Main Street organization, what would the role of that Main Street organization be in that particular project? So are there, you know, is anyone here inspired to focus in on a particular project or strategy? And can, you know, maybe just raise your hand and say what it is and you can start a group. And again, we can have anywhere between 4 and 6, 3 and 6. Yeah?
The labor in our gallery.
Okay, great. So there's one group. Who else wants to be involved in that group? Okay. Okay, good. So why don't you stay at that table? We've got your group here. All right. Okay, what is another project that someone's interested in?
Oh, sure. I mean, if there's enough traction, I'll do the default trail
Okay,
system.
great. And is anybody else, who else is interested in doing that? Okay. All right, and so let's see. Why don't you take over this table right here?
This
And-
is dead false? Yeah.
He likes
Yeah,
I
so,
don't
and then he, and, you know, we were,